Okay, so Barbs, so nice to see you finally again.
Hi. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me here today.
Oh, super happy to have you. Really enjoy talking to a lot of different people about stuff related to giving classes, students,
Uh-huh.
etc. And well, before we begin, let everybody know who you are, how long you've been teaching, what you've been doing with classes, where you teach. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Barbs.
All right. Don't give me too much space because I'm going to spend like whole 30 minutes doing this.
No
Kidding.
problem.
My name is Barbara. Yeah, I'm 34 years old. I am a BA. I got my degree in languages, Portuguese and English at UFRJ, right? I've been teaching English for 15 years, quite long, but I love what I do. I've already taught all kinds of uh, uh, um, students, like teenagers, kids, adults, even older people. Yeah, older people were like the joy of my life. It was really interesting doing so with people who were like 60 years old and older.
Wow.
It was really fun. I've already worked with different levels of English: basic, intermediate, advanced. Now I am in a position as an English teacher at a company that promotes in company classes. So
Mm,
we work directly with employees of companies, and yeah, it has been really fun. I really love what I do. I learn a lot with my students, and I hope they learn something here and there with me. So yeah, this is being really fun doing so.
awesome. It's interesting, right? Like giving class to adults, like much older students, is something that I feel a lot of
Mm-hmm.
teachers even have kind of a barrier to, even some kind of limiting beliefs regarding. Like, do you feel, in your experience, uh, this stigma of old people, older students not being able to learn so much? Like, in your experience, how
Yeah.
have you seen that ring true or false in your experience?
Yeah, it was really challenging in a way that the approach with older people, it's different when we are dealing with younger adults like in their 20s or late teens.
Uh-huh.
But they are so eager to learn. They are so eager not to prove themselves that they can, but to feel joy in the process, right? They don't have that weight on their shoulders to say, "Oh, I need to be a perfect speaker. I need to be, I need to learn all the vocabulary." Every step of the way, they celebrated, they cheered,
That's
and it
nice.
was really fun. Yeah, because that's what learning English is so important, and it's necessary to be light. You need to enjoy the process, right? And they enjoyed the process. Uh, um, uh, and the teaching process was really easy, was really smooth, because they were open to everything I was willing to provide to them, right? So every new vocabulary, every grammar topic, every small discussion they had, they celebrated everything they produced. So I believe younger students could mirror older adults, students, that you need to mirror them, like to uh, uh, um, get their enthusiasm,
Yeah.
get their passion to learn, you know learn because they want to learn, not because they are obliged to. That
Yeah.
makes this the path of achieving a second language, it was much easier and much more pleasurable.
Absolutely. That makes so much sense. Right. I feel there are some motivators, right, that make learning English really difficult, like much more difficult than necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And you touched on
Mm-hmm.
a few of them that make it much easier, right? Like getting involved, celebrating the little wins, kind of
Mm-hmm.
not having that weight on your back of having to have it perfect or having it super well. Um, and also having it light, right? We're really facing the learning journey in a light way. I feel it takes away a lot of the pressure, unnecessary pressure, really, of trying to
Mm-hmm.
make everything perfect and trying to make things trying to control the process. I feel that it's a little bit, I guess, frustrating for a lot of students when they realize it's kind of
Sure.
an ongoing metamorphosis, a kind of a constant change in their habits, in the way they
Sure.
see the exercises that they need to do, and learning in general. Like, it's not easy already,
Mm-hmm.
it requires a lot of energy. So if you add on to that pressure or a
Mm-hmm.
bad motivator, I guess it just makes everything much more difficult and takes a lot longer to get to wherever you want to get to.
True. That's completely true, right? You need to find like the real motivation behind it. Yeah, not like, oh, I like to speak like native, or I need to
Yeah.
impress my boss. Like, come on, find the real motivator. Like, I want to change my life. I want to be able to travel by myself. I want to have. I had a student. He was how old was he? He was 10 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, and his mother pull me aside and say, "Could you give me some strategies or some sentences that could, help him? I want to learn a little bit because I want to help my son."
Hmm.
So she ended up being my student because it surpassed. She wanted to learn some words, some sentences, some keywords here and there to help her son. And then she ended up being my student because she enjoyed the process. So she found
Mm.
a real motivation, to keep on practicing and speaking and learning. Like, oh, people told me to take this course, or my boss says I need to take this course in order to get a higher position in the company. I mean, I know it is a motivation, but is it a true motivation that you keep on doing it? Because this is hard work. And
Yes.
the teacher is just like 20-25% of the process, because the journey is
Yes.
yours. We teachers, we are just help you, like guide you on the way. We're like Hafiki and the students are Simba. We are just guiding you in the process. The process is yours. The journey is yours. You have to embrace it and like it, and appreciate every step you take, and even embrace the mistakes. Yeah, I believe this is something that is really hard for us to do because we live in a culture where everybody needs to be over accomplished,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
multiple things. Yeah, especially moms. Yeah, moms who have a career, like who work outside home, because working at home, being a stay-at-home mom, it is hard work. Yeah, and we
Absolutely.
have moms who had a career outside home, who have, when they come home, we have the double, the triple shift. We need to, you know, go chase our career, and then we gotta speak a second language, and then we have to take care of our kids, and we have to take care of ourselves too. So it's too much on one's plate, right? So we gotta loose, get loose a little bit, right? And
Mm.
no, this thing I will do it for me on
Yeah.
my time, in my terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that could be a good way of looking at this. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I feel taking the reins of your learning process has everything to do with that. It's like, I'm going to do it on my terms. I'm going to do it in a way that fits into my schedule, and I'm going to do it for me. I feel that is probably one of the strongest
Mm-hmm.
motivators that I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
that really pull people through the difficult parts and the difficult times. One of the worst motivators,
Yes.
just in contrast, is like, I need it for my work. That it's I even get
Yeah.
reluctant to accept students that have that as a motivator. I tell them right from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, I tell them that's a very bad motivator. Very clearly say, listen, that's
Yeah.
something that's I understand is necessary, but I've in my experience, and I've been teaching for like 16, 17 years, it's been one of the motivators that the moment you change jobs, you stop English because you don't need it anymore. The moment you
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
associate English with a job that you don't like, it becomes part of the things that you don't like doing. It becomes
Mm-hmm.
a you start to
Mm-hmm.
develop a negative relationship with that, and you can't develop a negative relationship with something that you
Yes.
want to learn. Naturally, your mind's gonna reject it. Naturally, every part of your body
Mm-hmm.
is going to reject the moments that you're spending learning it.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes disappointing when you see other people who are making progress faster than you. So, like, everything becomes more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you deal with students that have weak motivations and you know they have weak motivations, but they are in
Mm-hmm.
class
Mm-hmm.
dragging along and making much less progress than the others? How do you deal with those students?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I am dealing with something really similar right now. I started a new with a new student last Tuesday,
Okay.
and she said just like that. I hate English. I hate studying English. I don't like it. I prefer Spanish. Like, oh my God,
Oh,
those
what a
cities
great
to me.
start.
And she's like, I started, and her story is exactly this. I started learning English because I got into the job and they required me to do so. And I need to learn because the area I work at, it's full of terms in English. So I need to do this, but I don't like it. It's difficult. I don't have, I'm not patient enough to do so. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Time out. Time out. Like, because when you build up a barrier, you are making your own work difficult.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you're building a barrier to yourself. Yeah, so we gotta, and it's funny because as teachers, we gotta do many things. We are not only teachers, we are coaches, we are motivators, we do pep talk, we have many tasks around it.
Yeah,
But it's part of the process. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
because too many people, the process of achieving a second language or a foreign language is really frustrating
Yeah,
due to, you as you said, weak motivators. Sorry. And I told her, relax. Yeah, oh teacher, but it's hard. I know, but I like you. I would like you to stop seeing English as an obligation, but seeing as a moment for you to reveal skills and abilities you don't know you have. Put it into a different perspective.
hmm,
Yeah, respect to your own time. Embrace your mistakes. Yeah, enjoy the process. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was difficult because I only studied when it was the time of the class. When I closed the window of the video call, I wouldn't touch my notebook or my books. Like, all right. So we gotta change this mindset.
yeah,
Yeah. You don't need to sit down for, because sometimes people who are in a corporate, in a business environment, they don't have like 1 hour, 2 hours to sit down and study.
yeah,
Yeah. So do little by little, do little
yeah,
by little. You got here, like we have 20 minutes, read something or do part of the homework. Yeah. Even talk to yourself, talk to the mirror.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's like you need to build an atmosphere that you need to put yourself in this and feel comfortable with it.
yeah, yeah,
If the world doesn't make you feel comfortable, if the world doesn't make you feel wanted, if the world doesn't make you feel that you fit, you belong there, build your own atmosphere. Feel comfortable with it. practice it, and then surround yourself with people who celebrate your achievements. Your mom, a friend, your significant other, I don't know, anybody who celebrates your achievements, that celebrates your efforts, that is there with you. Could be an anonymous person, I don't know, a friend you meet on the internet. Yeah, make this that must me make this place that makes you feel comfortable, and don't be afraid to make mistakes because we are here to help you with this. Yeah, so she tried. I talked about this with her, and she got okay. Let's see. Let's try. Let's try to put into work. So it's something that it's not only because English is not learning a language is not just a process of achieving it. It's also to build your emotions. It's
Yeah.
much more psychological than like just an area of communication. Yeah, it messes up with your humor. It messes up with your confidence. It messes up with your self-esteem.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we gotta treat it. We gotta embrace it. Yeah, teachers need to also embrace it. How to build up your students' confidence. Not only put a set of rules on the board and like, look, you need to use a verb to be for this, this, and this, and this. Present perfect works like this and this and this and that.
Yeah.
You need to contextualize it, immerse your students into the reality, especially a reality, especially dealing with verb tenses that they don't exist in Portuguese. I'm going to say Portuguese because it's the context that we are in.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Of course, it could be applied to other languages. So I say present perfect is not a verb tense that we have in Portuguese.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do I do this? How would that get that click of, oh, this is the right context that I need to use the present perfect? And then helping the context will also help the confidence for them to use it, to be,
Absolutely.
bold, to get what to get what they have, the vocabulary that they have, the grammar structures that they learned. Yeah, apply it to how to apply it in real life. So it's a key of factors that influences language acquisition, and this is really it's a serious job. No, it's tough. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's really tough, but it's really pleasurable. It's challenging, and I like it. It's good.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Students will listen to a teacher who they trust, and I feel that trust
Hmm.
just catalyzes the process of them doing what is necessary because the
Hmm.
teacher knows what needs to be done. And that brings me to another topic,
Hmm.
which is the teacher student connection, right? I feel that when it comes to
True.
teaching, if the student doesn't jive with the teacher and the teacher doesn't jive with the student, it might
Hmm.
even be the perfect teacher, it might even be the perfect course, but it seems like that connection needs to be founded on trust, on understanding, and even
Hmm.
a sort of friendship, I would say. Kind of, mm, I'm sorry? What
No,
did,
no, I'm agreeing with you.
oh, okay. No, yeah, yeah, a kind of camaraderie, some type of bond there
Hmm.
that I feel helps the learning process become simpler, easier, and foment trust between the student and teacher. How do you feel about the student teacher connection, and how do you build this bond with your students?
This is quintessential. This is like really important. It's not that you're going to be like BFS with with your student. It's
Absolutely, yeah,
not
yeah,
this because we need to maintain the line of being professional, not to
absolutely,
mix it up, because sometimes it gets on the way. It already happened to me. My student became my friend, and then the professional and the personal got mixed up, and her process was jeopardized. Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah,
we teachers also learn with our mistakes, right?
absolutely,
But the camaraderie, as you said, it's really important, because when the student sees themselves in the teacher, like using the language or the career path that the teacher built up, or how the teacher approach the student, he feels the trust, he feels security, he feels secure to, okay, I am in a comfortable environment. I feel in a safe space and I can expose myself and I
Mhm.
expose what I have. Sorry, expose my knowledge. Yeah. These. I'm sorry. Oh my God,
Don't worry about
the
it.
telephone is ringing. Sorry.
Don't worry about it.
No, it's okay. And it's really interesting. Yeah, you need to know your student. Yeah, you need to know how they communicate, um, how they see the language, what's the purpose of his or her journey studying the language, and speak your student's language. Yeah, learn it, what they like, what they don't like, the exercise they are going to be successful for his or her trajectory, um, their musical taste, their movie taste, like everything. It's always that is also outside the scope of the class, because it will be a way to reach them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to be adaptable is not to be fake, is to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
adaptable.
Yeah.
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 The way I behave with my students who are young apprentices at a company, it's not going to be the same way I approach another student of mine who is a manager in a construction company.
Yeah.
Two different people with two different life experiences, with a huge age gap. So my body language, the way I behave, the things I talk about, they need to be adapted, yeah, to the students' reality. It's not to be fake. It's not to build like thousands of personalities.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
to adapt yourself, adapt your approach to your students' uh,
Profile.
necessities. Yeah,
Needs. Okay.
to the student's
Hmm.
profile, exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Perfect. Yeah, I feel like that rings true for not only the behavior that we have with the students, like the way we talk to them, the way we explain things to them, sometimes show them the explanation in a way that would be different
Mhm.
than we do it with others, because it's a way that we will get the message across faster, easier, and they will understand it better. Um,
Sure
Understanding
thing.
that, having that discernment as a teacher when it comes to understanding the student's profile, the student's needs, and adapting your approach or maybe even the methods that you're using, I feel is super important, right? That's super important. And I feel that's something that's a little bit difficult to do in the world of teaching inside of a school. So when it comes to
Mhm.
teaching in a school, wherever it might be, um,
Mhm.
I don't know how it
Mhm.
works today. Do they give you the freedom to work with different methodologies if necessary and change the approach and the content if necessary with the different profiles of students that you encounter?
I believe it depends on the school. There are schools that are more flexible with it. They just say, okay, I'll give you the student. They want to be in the video call at this time on this day, and then you're
Okay.
free to find the material, the approach, the methodology, and this is it. Then there are schools that they are more, how do I say this? They are a little bit more, they have their own methodology and you need to follow it. They have their own material and you need to follow it. But even so, you can approach their material into different ways,
Oh yeah.
still following the methodology that is proposed by the school. Yeah, you're going to adapt it in the way there is likable, in the way that is possible to be understood by your students. Yeah, and without going out of what is proposed by the school. Yeah, you need to learn your public. Yeah, and you need to adapt the material. Sometimes it's necessary to adapt the material, not adapt in a way of removing things or adding things, but the way you're going to convey this material, the way you're going to show them the content. Yeah, like you said, how you're going to teach it, how they're going to approach the student, how you're going to bring them back to where you want them to build up context and immerse them into this context. So you need to have this way of dealing with this. You need to know how to cope with this, cope with your students differences without leaving the scope of the group, of the material, of the methodology.
It's nice. No, for sure. That makes a lot of
Have I
sense.
answered your question? I don't know if I have.
No, yeah, you have. I wanted to know about how it was with these schools, and you said some of them are more flexible with the methodologies, others are a little bit more
Mhm,
rigid. But regardless of them being more rigid or not,
mhm,
you can definitely approach the material in a different way, in a way that makes it easier for the student, in a way that makes it more
mhm.
relevant for the student, and hook on
Sure.
to the student in that way. Very cool.
But this I'm
Please.
sorry to interrupt you. Just want to add one thing. It's that this is important, especially with schools that they have a more rigid approach. That sometimes when you have a methodology, you as a student, you need to find the right methodology for you,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely,
Because it's
absolutely.
really this right? This is really interesting. For example, I had a student that um, she really wanted to write better, and we were at a school. They had the audiolingual method. So it was speaking all the time and no writing. And she said, "Oh, this school is so bad." And it's like, wait a second. Have you seen the methodology that they have?
Yeah,
It's not that school is bad, it's that school is not the right one for your purpose.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to do with the language? How do you want to learn the language? That's why you need to do your research, right? Not only just,
Yes.
oh, I'll come here because this school has a name. It has a name on the market. Is the market leader in the among the language institutions, right? It's the most is the most important, or
The most
it's
prestiged.
expensive, so I'm going to have more status. Is the most prestige. I'm going to have a status if I have a certificate from this school or from
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
school. But
Absolutely.
this school doesn't fit your goals. Doesn't they don't they you're not going to be able to achieve your goal in this school. So do your research, find the methodology that fits your personality. Yeah, I
Absolutely.
see. It was really complicated when I had students who are
Yeah.
so shy, like they were like inside of a clam. They clammed up, and they were in an audiolingual school. Like, sweetheart, it's not going to happen because it's going to be a bad process for you. It's going to undermine your confidence. It's going to uh, 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 jeopardize your self-esteem. So it's like it's really complicated because for traditional schools you need to maintain your students, right? You need to maintain them,
We have to
right? But
retain them.
me as a teacher, yeah, we need to retain them. I made a vow. Yeah, I took a vow of help my students achieve their goals. Yeah, so sometimes I would talk. You know what? Let's do some research. Find out which methodology fits you.
Mhm,
Yeah, fits your personality, will help you to achieve your goals in the smoothest way. I
mhm.
believe this is really important, right? Um, and yeah, so it was like this. So finding the right methodology that fits you, it's the best thing, because it will help you to be constant learning. It will help you build up your trust and your confidence. This is also important.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that brings you to the next thing, right? You talked about a student with that was really embarrassed, was really shy. I feel that's a really
Mhm.
big issue for most students, really, especially in the beginner stages, is overcoming the fear, the
Mhm.
shyness, the fear of sounding dumb,
Mhm.
etc. Um, Even some
Mhm.
advanced students, I feel, with that fear, they end up going down to intermediate just because of their fear. Um, and my question is, like, how do you help students to become more fearless? How do you encourage students to push past embarrassment? How do you do that?
Yeah, you need to build an atmosphere of trust. Yeah, you need to build up that trust, especially your trust in you in the beginning. Yeah, they need to trust you. Yeah, the empathy is the key. Yeah, show them that you were on their shoes before. Yeah, like say I was once just like you at the beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah, and when they feel the connection, that all right, if she could do it, I can do it too. Yeah, so I believe this the basis of the thing, to to listen to them. Yeah, not to hush things up. So, oh, we need to follow these lesson plans, so we need to hurry up because we need to close. I need to close these topics inside this month. So yeah, don't. I know we do, but we kind of don't, because we need to help them. Yeah, build this confidence.
yeah,
To feel like they trust you. Yeah, so they will come out of their shell. And stimulate them into practicing, into producing, yeah, giving extra exercises, extra materials, talking to them in other contexts. We have many other ways. Technology is here to help us doing this way. Yeah, and let them see that they don't need to rush. Yeah,
yeah,
they can you can have discipline, very light, and you can laugh at your own mistakes.
yeah,
You can
absolutely.
laugh at your own at your own shortcomings. This is not something to be embarrassed. Embrace the mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with time and respect time, right? We Us teachers also need to respect the students' time. As you go, oh my God, they don't do this. Is something wrong with me? Am I doing it wrong? Sometimes you're not doing it wrong, but you need to respect your students' time. Yeah, it's like you when you're taking care of a plant. Yeah, you're watering. You know, uh, 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 you're taking care of this plant, and you see it bloom. You see it bloom, but
Absolutely.
give it time. True.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I feel a lot of patience goes into the process of teaching and learning on both sides. Like you said,
Sure.
you kind of have to have, let it bloom. You have to give it space, give it, nurture it, and let it bloom. And I feel having
Mm-hmm.
that patience of kind of waiting for the flower to bloom, kind of waiting for the
Mm-hmm.
internal process to happen, because you don't really see that happening from a plant. Like a student also, you don't see the internal process that they're going through on the outside. And even though you know the difficulties that each one of your students have, a lot of them cannot be changed by the teacher. Like you said, it's about a 25%
Yeah.
effect that we have on the student.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the changes that are going to happen through the student are going to be coming from the student. They're going to have to do that internal work. They're going to have to
Sure.
kind of get over their fears. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to really decide to trust. They're going to have to decide to set aside a little bit more time, practice a little bit more, do
Mm-hmm.
the exercises of what they're biggest difficulties are, and get over those things.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the
Sure,
process is in
indeed.
fact on the student. So until that flower blooms, the internal work needs to be done. The nurturing needs to have
Sure.
happened. The absorption of new skills need to be acquired. All that needs to happen. And until you see the flower, which is when you can see the student talk better, when you can see that he's more clear in the things that he
Mm-hmm.
has to say, and you can see that he's more confident in the way that he talks, and all of these little things are like, I guess, little flowers, right? They just kind of show up, and
True.
you have to have that patience and sometimes encourage the student, knowing that the flower is coming. You need to persevere just a little bit more. You need to persevere a little bit
Mm-hmm.
more. This moment is a little bit
True,
difficult.
indeed.
You know,
True, indeed. You need to trust the process. You need to trust the process, man. You have your own process as a teacher.
yeah,
Yeah. Because you are also in constant learning as well. We never stop learning new things. Yeah.
absolutely.
We need to take ourselves out of the position that I know things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you know things now, yeah, but there is always much more room to improve, to learn, to get better at. Yeah, because we also get frustrated when things don't work out. Sometimes you prepare a nice activity, a superb activity. You say, "I'm gonna rock this thing," and then it fails. It doesn't have the outcome that you predicted, and you're like,
That's
"Oh my
true.
God, I am a failure. Oh my God, I suck as a teacher." No, you don't. It was just a moment. And then you
Yeah,
take the time to learn. Say, all right, let's analyze this thing. Yeah.
yeah,
Where can I improve it? Right? What could be the possible another possible outcome of this activity? Yeah. We always have to have a little bit of contingency plans, like a plan B if you don't
absolutely,
achieve the outcome you predicted,
absolutely,
because it helps you not get frustrated as well, right? Because sometimes when you don't know how to deal with frustrations, we teachers we get demotivated as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
it was really bad. It was really bad for me during pandemic times. Jesus Lord, sometimes it's hard for me to say it. But pandemic times, it was tough, man. It was really tough. It was a moment that I couldn't trust myself as a professional. I wasn't. I think I wasn't able to reach my students. I think I
Wow.
wasn't creative enough, fun enough, attentive enough. Uh, um, I think I wouldn't fit to be a teacher. I had a moment that I
Wow.
wanted to give up. And what brought me back were my own students. They brought me back. They brought me back to my career, to my life. I went back on track. I apologized to them. It's like, they don't need to be sorry for. Everybody was messed up during those times, right? But I kind of put off the pressure uh, uh, um, to be perfect.
Yeah, and it's
Yes,
tough.
and it also helped me to put myself on my students' shoes.
Hmm.
You know how the pressure sometimes they build up the pressure on their minds, and yeah, empathy is the key. So we gotta make it work. Yeah, and respect our own time.
Absolutely. Yeah, for teachers as well. Yeah, it's interesting how a lot of people talk about building something, honing a skill, making it better, and that it needs to be something that you do every day. It needs to be something that you do if you're feeling good or bad. If you're feeling amazing, if you're feeling sad, whatever, you need to keep doing it. And I feel teaching is one of those jobs that um, there are a lot of variables in the job on the day to
Mm-hmm.
day. Even from class to class, you'll have a lot of variables. You'll have the personalities of the students that you're dealing with. You'll have the capacities and
Mm-hmm.
difficulties of the students. Even if the same level, you'll have different challenges in each one of the uh, classes. So it's a constant context switching of challenges and uh, adaptations, adjustments, like you said, that you need to do from student to
Mm-hmm.
student, from person to person, from class to class. And that
True.
can be exhausting. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you do end the day pretty drained in a lot of ways. And if you don't learn with the different moments that appear during the classes, you
Mm-hmm.
don't learn that maybe I can do that more efficiently. Maybe I can streamline this explanation. Maybe I
Mm-hmm.
can use that explanation that worked really well for more students and save some class time because it will
Mm-hmm.
reduce the amount of time that I need to explain something and will make them learn faster. All of these reflections on a day-to-day basis, they can be very, very tiring. And it seems like we always get better and we never notice how good we're becoming until we're
Mm-hmm.
much further from who we were in the past. And then we really start
Mm-hmm.
to see very clearly, oh, yeah, yeah. So all of this
Mm-hmm.
repetition, all of these classes that we gave, all of these moments that we decided that we wanted to maybe quit, but we didn't end up being worth it because now
Mm-hmm.
you know that you're a much more capable teacher. You're much more confident in, in taking students from place A to place B in their skill sets, and you, I guess, you feel much more valuable as a teacher as well, which I
Yeah.
feel is something that is super important and necessary for teachers to have, not only if they're teaching on their own, but also
Mm-hmm.
if they're negotiating their worth inside of a school. Right?
Yeah.
That's
True.
really cool.
I totally
Talking
agree.
about that, how do you deal with that? I haven't been teaching inside of a school since the pandemic, actually. Been
Mm-hmm.
teaching on my own since then. Um, so I've been a little bit disconnected with the internal workings of in company teaching or schools in general.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How does that uh, dynamic work? Are there fixed prices now for teachers, for groups? Is there leeway for negotiation? Can you negotiate your value? Can you negotiate something? Do you have anything like that? How does it work in the market nowadays for teachers?
All right. I worked at three companies. Just
Okay.
we gotta work. We got a job to do. And the three of them, they work in very different ways. Yeah.
Okay.
Not much, not that different, but different. One of them, it's in Poland.
Okay.
It's an online school. So the rules are slightly different. They have when we are dealing with international schools, there are some certificates you need to have, and the more certificates you have, your hourly rate changes.
Mhm.
So to some certificates I have a specific hourly rate, and they have some bonuses for production and the amount of hours you work. Uh, it's a contract, yeah. Um, and basically, they you don't need to. I'm sorry. They offer you students, or you put your schedule available. Look, I am available to teach in those hours, and then either they select the students in those slots available, or a student can choose you from the roster and open your schedule when they schedule a time with you. Yeah, that could be recurring or not. On the second school that is in Sao Paulo, they have on-site classes, the on-site job, or you can have online. For me, everything is online. They had depends on the modality
Mhm.
of the group. If it is a group, it's an amount. It's an hourly rate. They're 4 hours. Yeah, there's one hourly rate, and then if it's just two students, it's another rate. If it's just one single student, it's another rate. And You also don't choose the students. They offer you and they see, are you available for this group? So you can decline or you can accept it. Um, um, and you need to fill up forms with the content, the amount of time, the duration of the class, what was the content that was provided, and so on and so forth. And then there is the company in Rio that I'm able to work in person, but it was really tiring for me
Hmm.
because the group was slightly distant from my home. So the commute was crazy. Like, yeah, I was supposed to work to teach for 1 hour, and I had 2 hours to go there and 2 hours to come back. I
Yes.
spent much more time on public transportation than teaching itself.
Yeah.
So I got the math is a mathing on my head. It doesn't let up. So I
Yeah.
let the group go, which was painful to do because I love those students. It was painful to see them go, but I had to. And
Absolutely.
they had a base hourly rate. It doesn't matter if it is a group or if it is individual. They have the hourly rate that is basis for all the students. And this is basically it. And all of them, only the Polish one, they have a platform. So you need to
Hmm.
follow their method and their approach. You take part in training process, and uh, uh, um, you need to uh, 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 know how to use their website. It's much more strict than the other two schools. That, all right, the student's yours, do what's best. So I have much more freedom to approach with the materials I want, the materials I see fit, and I'm able to use videos, music, movie snippets, anything I see fit for them in this journey process. I can do this to other schools. It doesn't mean I don't do this with the other school. I do.
Uh-huh.
Do I follow their methods? Of course. Do I give extra materials? Absolutely, because it needs to change. It needs to change. They like to see something really motivating. And I like to work with the Polish school because the Polish culture is completely different from the Brazilian one. And they're much closer and very, very strictly professional. But
Nice.
as time you build up their trust, they let loose a little bit, so you can know them better to see what else can I introduce in the classroom to make it juicier and interesting and fun and relaxing. So I do it too. Sometimes I get it. A calling, oh, we need to stick to the topic. It's like, okay, I will, but we gotta bend the rules a little bit, just a little bit, just for the fun, to enjoy the process of learning English. That
Yeah.
is not that
Hmm.
they it doesn't mean that their methodology don't work. It works. It's
Absolutely.
effective. It's nice. It's people get attracted to it. But it's good to introduce other things here and there to
Absolutely.
keep them the ball rolling, right? I think
Yeah.
it's interesting to do so. You put your own signature into your classes. Like, we have this platform, but I am the teacher. So you're
Yeah.
going to see a little bit of me in this, and this is good because it brands in a good way your students, like, oh, my teacher did this and this and that. It was so interesting that they keep on talking to other people. Oh, my teacher did this, my teacher did that. And people, like, you kind of sort of get fans around. It's really interesting when your students start admiring you
Yeah.
and expecting, or they hoping they are coming, say, oh, every time I listen, oh, an audio, say, oh, teacher, I wasn't able to go, I wasn't able to attend last class, but I miss you so much. I miss your classes. This is so good because it means that you're doing a good job. They are motivated. They keep on coming, and this is the key. This is really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. That's super rewarding for sure. All right. Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Barbara. I think we're gonna start.
Oh,
We're gonna stop
fine,
around
thank you.
here. There are still a lot of
Yeah, we
things that I would like to talk about for sure. Like we talked a little bit about teaching older students and the features that they have to help them learn. Today we talked about motivators, what motivators are bad for learning, which ones are more positive. You talked about building your own atmosphere that's beneficial to learning, right? Really building that atmosphere. If you can't have it in your own life, in your natural life, build it. Making bonds. We talked about bonding with students as well, creating that trust and that relationship that helps them also progress. Also, changing methodologies and the freedom to be flexible with content for different student profiles and adapting your
Mhm.
approach. We talked about that as well. We talked about finding the right methodology that's fit for you as a student, right? And as a person, right? Doing a little bit of research, like you said, take it on to you to really look for what you need and find what you need and go for that instead of just accepting a school because it's prestigious or because it's a big name in the market, etc. We talked also about how to help students push past embarrassment and encouraging them to be a little bit more fearless. We also talked about the difficulties that teachers go through when teaching and things that we learn as well. And finally, we talked about how the market looks like for English teachers with some companies that you work with today. Very cool, very insightful.
Yes,
Thank you
we
so much for your time, Barbara. Let people
I
know where they can
appreciate.
find you, okay, online. Let them know where they can find you, how they can get in touch with you.
All
Let them
right,
know.
so I have an email. It's English with teacherbarb at gmail.com. You can send me an email. I am building my uh, um, Instagram profile. I will also put it available for you when it's ready. And there is also my WhatsApp number. Yeah, and I will release it when it's due.
Uh-huh.
But contact via email. Yeah, English with teacherbarb at gmail.com.
Barb without S, yeah?
Barb without S. Yeah, Barb. BARB.
At gmail.com. I'm going to put it there in the video. All right, thank you, Barbs. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we close?
For the students, embrace your mistakes, embrace your process, trust in yourself. Have fun while studying. Yeah, don't make it another task on your list. And for teachers, learn your students, learn your audience, learn with your own mistakes, respect your
Absolutely.
own process and your students' process. This is it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Miguel, so much for inviting me here. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
And yes, that's it.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Big kiss. Bye bye.